this list, in our number 10 spot, we have this apartment attic. This TikTok tells an incredibly interesting but horrifying story. The TikToker Sasha Jones had a series of videos blow up as she told a story about her childhood home that she lived in with her family for 10 years. While living in this home, she explained that she had frequent bouts of sleep paralysis and night terrors, as well as sleepwalking. Any fans of all things creepy know that this probably isn't a good sign. Sasha explains that at one point she went on a week-long trip to LA, but when she returned home, her mom sat her down to tell her that they were suddenly going to be moving out in 2 weeks. As it turns out, Sasha's mom revealed to her that while she was away on her trip, the family had found an attic that was hidden away in the closet that had not been disclosed in the lease. Basically, the attic was only accessible by one little square and it was super heavy. Apparently, when Sasha's mom sent her brother up there to check it out, he saw a bed, a dresser, some sheets, and a pair of shoes, and while everything was covered in dust, there was a set of footprints to her room and then back to the bed. I think it absolutely makes sense why they ended up moving out as quickly as possible. Sasha also explained that once they moved apartments, her night terrors, sleepwalking, and sleep paralysis all stopped, which cannot be a coincidence. In our number 9 spot today, we have this hidden basement. This TikTok comes from the user Unfortunate Existence about something she uncovered in a home she had purchased the year prior. She was pulling back her carpeting when she revealed a hidden trapdoor in the floor. Upon opening it, she came to realize that she had an entire basement that she knew nothing about previously. Apparently, aside from finding the fuse box, which she had previously been unable to locate, the basement findings also included a rocking chair and an old pickle jar. I think it's safe to say that they are much braver than I am, because there is no way I could have investigated a secret hidden basement on my own. In our number 8 spot today, we have this secret passageway. The TikToker Freddie Goodall really delivered with this secret room trend in his 500-year-old home. In his video, he showed the world a secret passageway he found hidden behind a bookshelf in his home. The secret passageway ended up leading to a room full of old, torn-up books. Apparently, this large home has a history of once being a boarding school, so it is believed that these remnants might have something to do with that. Freddie made a few more videos of this secret space, as well as more hidden gems found in his home, such as some wine storage and tunnels that led to what was once the servants' quarters. It is extremely interesting to see these little hidden parts, but there's also something extremely eerie about it. If you lived in this home and found all of these secrets, I want to know what you would do with them. Let me know down below in the comments. In our number 7 spot today, we have this New York City apartment. This TikTok is kind of the one that really started the secret hidden room trend on the app. Last year, Samantha Hartzell was feeling frustrated in her New York City apartment because she was continuously feeling a freezing cold draft, so she decided to investigate the source of it. It was coming from her bathroom, and after doing some searching, she realized that it was coming from behind her bathroom mirror, and that this mirror was a little too easy to move. When she took the mirror off of the wall, she revealed an entire other room, and of course, like anyone, became worried that someone may be living in that room, but still bravely decided to investigate. After climbing through this hole in the wall, she revealed an entire unoccupied apartment on the other side. It is unclear exactly what this situation is with this apartment, but she most definitely called her landlord immediately after. In our number 6 spot today, we have this hidden safe. This one is a little different on today's list because rather than a mysterious finding, this hidden gem was intentionally placed by this TikToker. Chris Bonomo 2 TikTok where they showed a genius secret hiding place where they store their valuables. This secret safe is hidden in the bathroom behind a piece of molding. After this, they placed a towel rack on top so that the rack can act as a sort of handle to reveal this well-placed secret. While this is extremely cool and honestly a seemingly good idea, my only concern is that now this secret is all over TikTok where anyone can find it. So maybe on second thought, I'll just have to think up my own genius hiding spot for all of my most valuables. In our number 5 spot today, we have this hidden time capsule. Cam, Me, and her husband were doing some renovations on their home when they stumbled upon their secret hidden room that they were blissfully unaware of prior to this. The room was filled with old pictures, and one of the most eerie among them was a photo of a child sitting in a go-kart with a seemingly headless man standing beside him. Cam has said that she really hopes the photo was just some sort of an exposure problem because it really is extremely creepy to see. Aside from the photo, the couple also found a Christmas gift from a past owner that was addressed to the occupant, some postcards, and a 1960s letter addressed to the writer's mom about a family dispute. The whole thing is not only interesting because it really is like a time capsule, but it also makes you wonder what led to this room being closed off and hidden for all of those years, especially with all of that stuff inside. In our number 4 spot today, we have this hidden attic. TikToker Sissy Hankshaw and her partner purchased a home together during the pandemic, but because of everything that was going on, they weren't ever actually able to see the house in person and instead based their decision entirely off of seeing photos of it on the internet. The couple first became suspicious about a possible secret room because they saw some windows on the outside of their home, but realized that they had no access to them from the inside. In the second video in this little TikTok series, they walked into what seemed like a storage space or wardrobe upstairs and revealed that they had found a small square panel that was screwed into the wall. Once they took the panel off, they found the secret room they had been looking for. The secret room was finished with insulation and flooring, and the wall they went through was new, which led to the couple wondering why this attic space had been blocked off like that. While it does seem a little eerie, it would be awesome to purchase a home that had more space than you ever even knew. In our number 3 spot today, we have this hidden bathroom. Mia Bug bought her very first home and immediately took to getting the renovations done prior to her moving in. The seller of the home explained that they had sealed off an area because there was a leaking drain pan. The seller said it was a small fix and not very costly, but they just didn't have the time or energy to do it, so they sealed it instead. Mia had no problem with this and bought the house, but when she went to take down the sealed wall, she realized that this story was not entirely true. Instead, they found a fully tiled bathroom hidden away behind this wall. The reviews to this discovery were mixed, with some people pointing out that it's a strange situation and adds a creepy element that the previous owners lied about it, while others explained that they would be ecstatic to find their home actually had another bathroom that they were unaware about. At the end of the day, it's probably just better to stay on the positive side and not think about all the things that might have led to this being hidden away. In our number 2 spot today, we have this storage cupboard basement. A TikToker named Abby uploaded a TikTok that featured the caption, "I can't believe what we found in our storage cupboard." Well, this storage cupboard revealed a hidden secret passageway to a basement that they had no idea existed. They explained that they decided to investigate because the storage area is where they put their vacuum cleaner, and they always felt like it sounded hollow beneath it. When they went down there was clearly evidence someone had once been down there, with things all over the floor, with some creepy scratched out pop art posters on the wall. Some commenters had theories that the secret basement may have actually been a World War II bunker, while other commenters swear that the opening of the basement must have released some spirits into our world. The whole basement is very creepy looking and is quite literally falling apart, but it could have some potential if they renovated it. In our number 1 spot today, we have this creepy Airbnb. This TikToker was staying at an Airbnb when he began to get some eerie feelings. It started when he first met the owners of the Airbnb and realized that they were surprised that he was a male and not a female. Any female knows what a huge red flag that would be. He goes on to explain that he could hear some strange noises coming from the vent in the middle of the night and also had a feeling that he was being watched. Instead of doing nothing, he decided to investigate. He approached the vent and ended up finding a whole entire room behind it. He explains that he didn't actually catch anyone spying on him or catch anyone actually in the room, but like anyone, the whole thing absolutely freaked him out and was more than enough to keep him on edge. I'm truthfully just hoping that he didn't stay at the Airbnb for any longer and also reported it.
At number 10 now, we have the Eiffel Tower. This iconic French landmark gets its name from Gustave Eiffel, the architect behind it. Don't know why I shouted his surname. He built in a private apartment at the top of the tower to entertain guests such as Thomas Edison. Over the years, many people offered Gustave a lot of money to rent the space, but he always refused. These days though, the apartment is open to the public to visit. When you get up there, you will find it decked out in an authentic 19th century interior with wax models of Gustave and friends. Little bit creepy, if I'm honest, those pictures. Moving on to number 9 now, we have the Hall of Records. I'm sure you'll all recognise this. It's Mount Rushmore, depicting the faces of 4 US presidents: George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson and Theodore Roosevelt. Behind Abraham Lincoln's head you can find a little known room known as the Hall of Records. This special vault was properly installed in 1998. It contains 16 porcelain panels depicting the construction of Mount Rushmore and also why those presidents were chosen. The room is not meant to be viewed by the general public, but is intended to be a sort of time capsule for the future. There are also copies in there of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Next up at number 8 now, we have Club 33. Disneyland in California is a kid's paradise, and also pretty fun for big kids too, I guess. Alright, it's fun for everyone, but it's aimed at kids. Because of this, you won't find any places there really selling alcoholic drinks, except for Club 33. It lies behind an unmarked door in New Orleans Square. It's an exclusive, members-only club that charges people $25,000 to join, and then comes with an annual fee of $12,000. It does look very nice from the pictures, but I'll be honest, I'm probably going to stick to Splash Mountain. At number 7 now, we have the Cave of Evil Spirits. Unlike the ones we've talked about so far on this list, this is a natural room, otherwise known as a cave. Obviously. It can be found at Niagara Falls, tucked away down the road. It's not known to many members of the public. I've been to Niagara Falls 3 times now and had no idea of its existence. However, the Seneca tribe of Native Americans knew it all too well. They believed it contained the trapped souls of evil spirits, hence its name. Apparently, warriors who enter the cave without fear were deemed ready for battle. Would you guys want to step inside? Moving on to number 6 now, we have the Statue of Liberty's torch. Today, visitors can climb up inside this famous New York monument and peer out of the top of her crown. What a lot of people don't realise though is that you used to be able to go even higher, all the way to the inside of the torch. That all changed during World War I though. German secret agents blew up a munitions depot near Ellis Island, damaging the statue enough that the public were no longer allowed to climb up to the torch. The arm was repaired in 1984 though, which means that although you're not allowed in it, the secret torch room still remains. At number 5 now, we have Trafalgar Square. After Big Ben and Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square might be one of London's most popular tourist spots. There's the big lions, there's the fountains, there's Nelson's Column, but hardly anyone notices this, a tiny room disguised as a lamppost. It's actually a fully functioning police station. The Lilliputian police station was built in the 1930s to serve as a watch post for the police in that area. The whole idea was that any police officer who was caught up in a riot or a protest could just duck in there for a bit for cover. It's so small that it only fits a single police officer, or I guess 2 if the police officers are, comfortable with each other. Next up at number 4 now, we have Radio City Hall. If any of you guys are from New York, you may have heard of Radio City Music Hall. After opening in 1932, it went on to become known as the showplace of the nation. In recent years, it's hosted political conventions, boxing matches, and even the NFL draft. During its construction, the architects built a secret apartment for Samuel Rothafel, one of the designers. After he died in 1936, the apartment was left unused and pretty much forgotten. Because of this though, it's remained perfectly pristine inside, just as it was left. Everything there looks just like it did during the Art Deco era that it was constructed in. Some people find it cool, others find it creepy. What do you guys think? Moving on to number 3 now, we have the Lucky 7 Lounge. At the Pixar Studios, an animator called Andrew Gordon once stumbled across a human-sized hatch in the back wall of his new office there. The tunnel led to a room used for access to air vents. He and his colleagues started to decorate the secret room and even installed a camera in the corridor to see who was coming. Pixar owner Steve Jobs used to visit this space, as well as the likes of Tim Allen and Randy Newman. Some of their names even remain on the wall to this day. At number 2 now, we have the Colosseum. More than 4 million people visit Rome's Colosseum every single year, the 2,000-year-old amphitheatre used by the Romans to stage everything from animal fights to gladiator battles. Not many people are aware though of the labyrinth of secret rooms and tunnels underneath the Colosseum. Today, many of them are hidden from public view, but back in the Roman era, they used to house animals such as elephants, leopards, and panthers. They would then be pulled up to the main arena using a pulley system. Alright, back to New York now for our number 1, and we have the Empire State Building. I've been up this building twice as a teenager. It was amazing. You get to see New York from the 102nd floor, which is the observation deck. What I didn't know at the time though was that this wasn't the only observation deck. There is actually another, less known but higher up one on the 103rd floor. It's closed to the public but apparently not celebrities. Taylor Swift once posted pictures of herself up there. It's thought that this room was originally meant for passengers to climb onto airships that would dock on the buildings. Airships stopped being a thing though after the Hindenburg disaster, but this hidden high up room still remains. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the abortion clinic. We are beginning now with a really intense one, so I hope you are all ready. I have warned you. In 2020 2012, it was reported that workers on a house in Missouri discovered a secret basement which used to be an illegal abortion clinic. The workmen found 2 human fetuses stored in jars there. They were protected by ceramic containers and covered with a cloth beneath an old medical examining table. The owner didn't seem to be surprised, as he had heard rumors from his parents that the house was being used as an illegal abortion clinic back in the 1950s. Police were called to decide on what to do with the fetuses, but they said they would not be investigating any further. If that sounds like a very strange discovery, we are only just getting started. Moving on to number 9 now, we have Joshua's room. A pair of house hunters in America were seriously disturbed by what they found in the basement of one house they were looking at. There were strange lookout holes in the stairs coming from the basement below. When they went down to the basement, they found graffiti written for what seemed to be a little boy called Joshua. The walls were covered with messages like, "Josh, stop reading this and go to bed. Mom." Another read, "Josh's rules. 1. No watching Isaiah through the hole, and 2. No writing or drawing on the walls." Another simply said, "Don't climb into my room, Isaiah." But for me, the most creepy one was, "Stop watching me." Who were Joshua and Isaiah? Why were they living in the basement? And who was watching them? People still discuss this story even today. At number 8 now, we have the gargoyle. In 2014, Imgur user Hickensource shared their discovery of a secret room in their house. They said they were walking around their house one day when they noticed a window for a room they didn't even know existed. It looked like a cellar. Inside there was a workbench fastened to the wall. Then he found a wall panel cut, which he peeled back to reveal a door behind the workbench. Through that door laid a creepy looking room filled with junk. There were newspapers from the 1970s, old playing cards, a strange looking machine, and perhaps creepiest of all, an old gargoyle surrounded by broken bits of wood. Gargoyles are pretty creepy, even on a good day. Extra creepy when you find them in a secret room under your house. No thanks. At number 7 now, we have the squatter. This one comes from Imgur user 2Byte Brownie, who shared pictures of a creepy discovery in his house. He said he and his younger brother were playing around one day when one of them fell into a bookcase. It moved, revealing a hidden room behind it. They found a black staircase that spiraled downwards. By this point, they were already very freaked out. About halfway down, they found a crawl space, and to their absolute horror, it looked like someone had been living there. There was a makeshift bed covered in their own Halloween candy. They realized that whoever was living there must have crawled into their bedroom when they weren't there to steal candy from them before retreating back to their hiding spot behind the bookshelf. I think at that point I'd either be running out the front door or just jumping straight out the window. Moving on to number 6 now, we have black mold. Jason and Kerry Brown were a couple from South Carolina who were renovating their new home in 2005. They began to remove some bookcases in one of the bedrooms when they discovered a hidden passageway that led to a hidden room. Nervously, they walked down the dark corridor, and there, in the very small room at the end, they found a mysterious note from the previous owner. It read, "You found it. Hello. If you're reading this, then you found the secret room. I owned this house for a short while, and it was discovered to have a serious mold problem, one that actually made my children very sick to the point we had to move out." Kerry and Johnson were naturally very shocked by this. They eventually made contact with the previous owner, who went into more detail about that situation. After some tests on the house, they found that it was true. The house had levels of black mold 4 to 5 times higher than the outside, potentially dangerous for young children. It seems that the house broker may have hid this information when selling them the house. Perhaps they should be thankful to the stranger and their slightly creepy note. Moving on to number 5 now, we have bad stomach. In 2013, some Norwegian students said their landlord told them there was a secret room somewhere in their house, but not where it was. That's creepy enough, but they actually found it and they took these pictures. One of them said it took them a long time to discover it, and said that it was actually found by accident when one of them was in the attic and just kind of stretched out. Suddenly, the wall behind them moved. Behind it, they found a tiny area filled with items from World War II. There was a mysterious sign that read, "If you have a bad stomach, you do not have access." There was also an alarm made of a single light bulb, an old map of Europe, and perhaps the most creepy object of all, a single white doll shoe. It was all quite a mystery until they were visited by some local historians who saw the post online. It turns out the room was used to secretly make newspapers bunkers during the Nazi occupation in World War II. Although they tried, the Nazis never actually found that room. All they needed to do was just stretch and push the wall. Simple. Next up at number 4 now, we have the crawl space. This one is a very small room. Very small indeed. Only enough room to crawl in. It was discovered in 2014 by Reddit user Lumberjack. He posted a picture to Reddit and what he discovered so far in it. The crawl space contained a strange looking locked door. Now through that door there was a room where the walls, floor and ceiling were totally covered in soundproofing boards and a plastic tarp. There were also 4 power outlets and a small area that looked like a raised single bed. The creepiest part was yet to come though. He found a briefcase. Inside that was an old jewelry box, envelopes with currency from all over the world and 4 1-ounce silver ingots. There was also a safe containing some old tapes. He couldn't play them though, and so decided to hand everything over to the police at that point. They refused to reveal the results of their investigation, sparking fierce debate about what this creepy room was all about. My guess is spies. It's gotta be spies. What do you guys think? At number 3 now, we have The Stranger. This is another squatter story. In 2013, Brett Muglin and Mark Hartman moved into their new off-campus house for their senior year at Ohio State University. After a few days in their new home, they woke one morning and found every door in their house had been opened. Everything. Room doors, the dishwasher door, the fridge dryer, washing machine, oven and microwave, all of them had their doors open. At first they thought it was just a college prank, but one day they heard noises coming from downstairs. They grabbed a baseball bat and a knife and went to investigate. When they reached the basement, they found a locked door no one had a key to, and there was sound coming from inside. A few days later, one of their friends who was visiting said that they had met their new housemate Jeremy in the basement. Brett and Mark just froze and said, "We don't have a housemate called Jeremy." At that point, they called the landlord and the police, who went straight to that mysterious door. They prized open the door to find a secret room that a man had been living in the whole time they were there. There were pictures of him with his friends and family by the bed. The bed itself was unmade and there were books everywhere. The room even included a toilet and a bathroom. He had been using a secret side door to sneak in and out of the house. It turns out the man's cousin had lived in the house the year before, and when they all left, he just set up in this secret basement room. I wonder how long he was planning on staying for. Next up at number 2 now, we have The Last Supper. In Hanny's restaurant and bar, there is a secret room you can visit if you know where to look. You may not want to though. Deep in this basement in Arizona, you can find these dolls on display. At first it looks like they've been randomly placed, but on closer inspection the dolls seem to be set up to mimic the famous painting of The Last Supper. I presume the doll in the middle is meant to be Jesus. Either way, it's a very creepy sight to see, even if you are expecting it. If you just stumbled across it while you're looking for the bathroom, well, it's probably a good job you're already on the way to the toilet. And finally, number 1 now, we have Peter Pan. In 2010, 2 women clearing out an abandoned basement in an old building in LA made a very gruesome discovery. They found the bodies of 2 babies from the 1930s. The bodies were wrapped in sheets and hidden in 2 doctor's bags, along with some crumpled 1930s newspapers and other belongings. The trunk had the name J.M. Barrie on it. Now, she was a nurse from Scotland. She had the same initials as James M. Barrie, the Scottish author of Peter Pan. Yeah, the Peter Pan. What's strange though is that there appears to be no connection between the 2 of them. A copy of Peter Pan and membership papers for the Peter Pan Woodland Club Resort were also included in those findings. Coroners said there were no signs of trauma on the babies or that they had been aborted. One had reached full term while the other was much smaller and could have been born prematurely. This mysterious and grisly case is still ongoing, and many people online have taken it upon themselves to solve this mystery.